Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome to this session of Daily Gita. First, let us pay our respectful obeisances to the deities of ISKCON Seshadripuram, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Mai ki Jai, Nitai Chaitanya ki Jai, Parshuram Bhagwan ki Jai, Vaman Dev ki Jai, Giri Govardhan ki Jai, Panch Tattva ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Let us do the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Jai Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are doing chapter number 2, also called as the contents of the Gita summarized. So this is a very important chapter because it actually summarizes all the verses of Bhagavad Gita, whatever Krishna had to tell to Arjuna. All of the concepts have been explained in the second chapter, and the rest of the 16 chapters make the explanations or further clarifications of whatever Krishna said in this chapter. So today's verse is 2.6. Na caitad vidmaḥ kataran no garīyo yadva jayema yadiva no jayeyuḥ. Yaneva hatvā na jijīviṣāmas te vasthitāḥ pramukhe dhārtarāṣṭrāḥ. Translation: nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we killed the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, we should not care to live. Yet they are standing before us on the battlefield. So here Arjuna is giving another kind of an objection. Here in this, his objection is like he's not very clear what he is supposed to do, whether he should fight or he should not fight, whether he should be conquered by them or conquer them. So he's not clear about that. So he's saying that even if we killed the Dhṛtarāṣṭra's sons, Kauravas, then what is the use of us living also at the same time? On the other hand, if we don't kill them, they are going to kill us. Right? So that is the summary of this verse. So in this verse, Arjuna was not sure whether he should fight and, cause all this unnecessary violence, right? War means violence, right? In a war, so many soldiers will be there in a war. Foot soldiers, at least in the Vedic times, the wars used to happen in a different way. It used to be in a much more civilized manner. So in a Vedic warfare, among the kṣatriyas, they used to, first of all, decide a time, decide a place which is very far from the city. And then they will all assemble there. And there will be a timing for that, when they should fight, right? Between morning and evening. And they will have different types of army. There are foot soldiers. There are people who are on the horses. And there are people who are on the elephants. And there are people who are on the chariots. And they are all graded in a different manner, right? So when there is a war, naturally what happens is that on either side, so many soldiers will die. And not only the soldiers, all these animals which are which have been trained to fight in the war, they will also die. So much of violence, right? So Arjuna, so he was not sure whether, who is going to win. I mean, are we going to win or they are going to win? He's a little bit confused. So he was thinking, okay, let us say that if we win, right? And even if we win, what is the use, right? And because winning means killing Bhishma and Drona and all his relatives, right? Killing one's own relatives. And what kind of victory is that? I mean, you're killing your own people, and then you're saying you're celebrating the victory. How is it possible for them to celebrate the victory? That, oh, we have won, right? So like that, he's considering. So now, if he does not fight, he's thinking, if I fight, that will be a defeat indirectly. If I do not fight, then there is no other way that I have to go away from this battlefield. If I'm going away from this battlefield, means I'm giving up my occupational duty. And they have no other ways or means of subsistence, right? And then, so he's thinking, why don't I do begging? I'll take up the begging profession. I'm so frustrated by all this kind of politics, right? I'm so frustrated by, I cannot, handle all this. So let me be very simple, saintly beggar. I'll just go door to door and beg for food, and I will be happy. So, all these things are proving that Arjuna is a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And not only that, he had a nice control of his mind and senses. If he had no control of his mind and senses, why would he even think like that, right? He would only think about victory, or how would I enjoy if I'm going to kill everybody, like that, right? So, and then he's also showing different signs of detachment here, right? So he was very virtuous person, and he's showing a sign of detachment, that he's, I mean, being such a royal prince, and he's ready to go and do begging also. So that's showing detachment also, correct? So the thing is, unless we have these kind of qualifications, we are not fit for spiritual knowledge. So if we have to receive spiritual knowledge is not like the material knowledge. It requires certain qualification, and that knowledge will elevate us to the spiritual world, correct? So for that, the qualities are being shown by Arjuna, that being very detached is one of the qualities. Having control over the senses and mind, this is one of the qualities, like that. So now, if we look at another angle on this verse, another angle is that Arjuna is confused. Even though he's detached, but he's confused. He's not clear what he has to do in life. So this is called indecisiveness. And we all are confused in our life, like Arjuna. We do not know whether to do this or do that. Many times we have so many alternatives, right? We do not know whether we want to study this degree or that degree, whether we want to take up this job or that job, whether we want to marry or not marry. Like that, at every point of time, we have indecisiveness. There is confusion. And most of the time, if this confusion is related to the religious principles, it becomes much more complicated. Even if it is related to some kind of investment, whether I have to invest in this or that, that is a different question. If I have to enjoy this food or that food, that's a different question. But if it comes to religious principles, whether I should do this or this in life, and I feel that the religious principles or dharma is at stake, my duty is at stake. If I take a wrong decision, I'm going to do something really wrong. So if you feel that, right, we get this kind of confusion. So why do we get a confusion? When do we get a confusion? When we go on when we are going, when we're traveling on a road, do we get confused? Right? Like, do we think 10 times, should I take this road or that road, this road or that road? No. Why don't we think? Because we have a clear goal. I mean, I know where I am going, and this is the destination that I am going. So I am going to this destination, and I know the purpose also. Why am I going there? I mean, we don't go to the city bus stand just like that and see the buses and come back, or go to the railway station and see the rails and come back. There's a purpose. We're going there. Then maybe to pick up somebody, or maybe to go to another city. Like that, we have a purpose. And that purpose has some constraints. So based on that constraints, we know how to go, which mode of transport to go, when to reach there, correct? And how to reach there. We also know which route to take, which route is filled with traffic, which route is not filled with traffic. So we have got experience also in that, right? And we have thought about it. And main point is that we have ultimate goal in mind, correct? So if we don't have ultimate goal in life, then we will be confused. So Krishna consciousness is like a map, just like how we have Google Maps. So we use a Google map, we put in the Google Maps and the destination, and the Google map will show us alternatives, and it will pick up a best alternative for us. What is the shortest route to go there? And then we see that and we judge based on our experience, or we will ask somebody else and confirm from an authority, and we will move. So like that, Krishna consciousness sets us a purpose in life. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita explains that the purpose of human form of life is to go back to Godhead, to think of Lord Krishna at the time of death and go back to Godhead. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam chajatyante kalevaram tam tamaivaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Whatever state of mind we quit our body, we go to that destination. So it is so important for us to be Krishna conscious all our lives. So once we know that this is the destination that Krishna is talking about, what is the destination? That is Krishna Loka. Yadgatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Having gone to the topmost abode of Lord Krishna, there is no coming back to this material world of suffering. This world is full of suffering. That we have to understand. And that is explained by Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna very clearly. So he is setting us a goal, that this is the goal. So you have to come back to Godhead. There is no suffering. And he also tells you, if you do not take up this path of Krishna consciousness, then what happens? What does Krishna say? Krishna says, Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushaka hi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayina. Those who are on the path of this, those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So if we are following the path of Krishna consciousness that is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then our purpose becomes very clear. What is it that I have to do in life? If I have to make a decision, I'll make a decision in a very simple basis. Whether this decision is going to favor me in Krishna consciousness or it is going to not favor me. It's very simple. It's very easy. We can judge that. By taking up this decision, will I be able to do Krishna consciousness better, or is it going to hamper my progress? If it is going to hamper my progress, I am going to reject it. No matter what, I will reject that. So if we follow this path, then our mind will be clear, focused, pakka, no confusion. If we do not, it's Krishna himself is telling you. Intelligence of those who are irresolute, who do not care for this path, what happens to them? Many branched. So Arjuna is also in a way playing a role on our behalf, trying to say how it would be if we are not in Krishna consciousness. Just like how Arjuna is thinking, should I fight or should I not fight? Should I fight or should I not fight? What will happen if I fight? What will happen if I do not fight? He's getting so confused. Different reactions, different arguments he's telling. But at the end, Arjuna is telling, Nashto moha smritir labdhva tvat prasadat mayachyuta sitosmi gata sandehaha karishye vachanam tava. Oh dear Krishna, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory. I am now very firm and free from doubt and prepared to fight according to the instructions. So this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So I hope that we will all take up this process very seriously in our lives and follow the path laid out by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and become very resolute in our purpose to go back to Godhead. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Hare Krishna.